I don't know what they are. They're redbuds, dogwoods. They're pretty trees. And actually just getting out here and getting my hands dirty and digging, I found that this gives me a measure of calm and peace throughout the day that normally wouldn't be there if I just woke up and opened my computer and sat down at my desk and just got to work. Hi there, folks. I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman. Wednesday, work with me. As usual in these types of videos, I have about an hour of time here in the morning before I have to be into work. I can get some things done in that hour of time, and I can also film myself getting things done and hanging out with you. As with all Work With Me Wednesday videos, I like to start the proceedings by drinking my coffee and looking out at the morning pasture. Please join me. In the last video, I talked about the sandy feed, cheap sandy feed from a big box store that I had to get my chickens in the previous feed run. But thankfully, I was able to get back to our local co-op and get the quote-unquote local pellet feed. It seems to be a lot better for our chickens, and it's produced locally. I'm pretty sure it's higher quality, and it's not that much more expensive. In fact, I'd have to look. I actually think it's cheaper than going to the big box stores to buy this type of feed. I much prefer this feed, and so do my chickens. Hi, turkey friends. Boy, these turkeys are getting big. What do you guys think? Look how much bigger they are. Can you imagine if I still had them in the stock tank inside? It wouldn't work. They've got plenty of food left now. Speaking of poultry food, I'm hoping to switch to an all flock feed here probably within a month, so that I can feed it to both our layers and to our turkeys, and it'll save us on feed costs. Right now, I'm getting this kind of pellet thing for turkey chicks, for turkey poults. It's a 50-pound bag. I'll let that run out. And once that's out, I'll probably switch to all flock feed. But man, look at these guys. They're getting so huge. I gotta turn off the heat lamp. I know we lost one of our turkey poults, which is unfortunate, but again, I mentioned it before, something that I did expect when I got the turkey poults, just because turkey poults are known for attrition. They're known to die off at higher rates than chicken chicks. So the fact that we only lost one so far is pretty good. The remaining 7 all seem pretty healthy. I'll continue to monitor them, but I think we have some good meat turkeys on our hands, these remaining 7. This white breed, I'm not even sure what kind it is. They told me that these brown ones are regular heritage breed, but these white ones, I'm not quite sure. I'm interested to see how they grow up and what they turn into and what their meat quality is like. Ain't that right, turkey friends? Next up, I have a hearty dose of gratitude to all of those that commented on my previous video about this odd-looking root, this odd-looking branch that just popped up from the bottom of my burgeoning young apple tree. I thought it was a quirky, fun thing. Couldn't do any harm, but then multitudes of people spoke up in the comments and said that this quirky-looking branch is in fact a water sucker. It's presumably called that because it sucks the water from the main tree. So everyone told me, get rid of that thing, prune it off. So, because of your comments, because of your vigilance, I'm going to do just that right now. I'm going to cut this thing off as close to where it branches off as possible. So, as you can see, it branches off right there. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video, but I'm going to knock this thing out as closely as I can without damaging the main trunk of this young tree. There we go. So as you can see, I've cut it fairly close, as close as I could. There it is. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna cover this thing up with mulch, just pile mulch up around it, which I think is a best practice anyways with young trees like this. Let me do that. I'm actually pretty excited about this little apple tree. As I discussed on the previous video, this apple tree, which is a pink lady, and his brother over there, which is a Fuji, they didn't do so well last year because of cedar rust. So I started using some sort of copper fungicide, which I think saved them. I think if I didn't apply that copper fungicide, I think they would have both been dead. But I think it pulled them up from the brink of destruction. And so they seem to be pretty healthy this year. And there isn't any sign of cedar rust this year from our many cedar trees. So I'll keep an eye. If I do see signs of cedar rust, I'll apply the copper fungicide. If not, I'll keep it off for now. But so far, these apple trees may do good for us yet. All right, so my time is getting limited this morning. I think I have roughly half an hour left, so I want to make the most of it. I'll show you what I've started doing to the garden. So as I film this, it's April 4th. In a month's time, we want this garden to be completely planted out, because at that point, I don't think we'll have to worry about freak freeze-overs at night. I think we'll be in a good spot to actually get the garden started. We've already started. We have some trays full of starts over there, which we've been keeping under Rubbermaid at night, just in case there is a freeze-over. And we started digging the weeds out of the garden. So a real quick recap for those that aren't familiar with our method for removing Bermuda grass, our experimental method for removing Bermuda grass. The only way to get rid of this stuff isn't to cover it up with cardboard or mulch or whatever, because it will grow. It's vicious. Bermuda grass is rough stuff. I've also heard it referred to as quack grass. The only way that we found effective to get rid of it is just dig up as far as we can into these beds and just remove it. So what we've been doing is we've been digging up the beds one half at a time. We pile one half of the soil onto the other side of the bed, and then we sift through the soil on this little dirt sifter that I made, this little soil sifter, and pile it back over. It's a laborious process. It's a really tough process, but it's the only way that we can actually have a garden that isn't completely overrun by Bermuda grass. So I've been doing that. You can see I've got these piles here of soil that I've dug up in half the beds. Some of the beds we already did this with last year, Nana Jana did, and they don't have any problems. It works. Like, this is a bed that we did last year. There's no Bermuda grass there. The potato bed, there's very little Bermuda grass. There are some other weeds and volunteer potatoes that have come up, but that'll be easy to take care of. This was another bed that Nana Jana did last year. There's no Bermuda grass. There's some little weeds. And that's what I'm gonna focus on today, just because I'm running out of time, is clearing this bed of the easy little weeds. Again, there's no Bermuda grass here. I'll take up my Bermuda grass excavation process on these remaining beds when I can, but this morning it won't be the case. So hopefully I can get this bed done before I have to go in and shower and get ready for work. So let's see if we can do it. One thing I'll say is that I've found the morning homestead work times, that period of time early in the mornings when I can devote an hour, maybe a little less, sometimes a little more, to just working out in the garden, working with the animals, getting small projects done before my workday starts. It's nice because I'm able to get things done in accordance with my quote-unquote slowly style and chip away at projects that need to be done. I've also found that it's made a profound impact on my mood. Just being out here in the sun every morning, getting my hands dirty, doing something tactile, moving dirt. I sit in front of a computer for my day job all day, 60 hours a week or so, and actually just getting out here and getting my hands dirty and digging. I found that this gives me a measure of calm and peace throughout the day that normally wouldn't be there if I just woke up and opened my computer and sat down at my desk and just got to work. There's something about the physical activity, there's something about grounding, there's something about getting my hands dirty that really makes an impact on my mood. I don't like to talk too much about personal struggles on this channel, but one thing that I will say is that with all the stuff that has hit over the past few months. Birth of my son, a really intense work schedule, lots of stuff going on in terms of trying to get ready. We had the pigs that we processed a few weeks ago. A high amount of things going on and lots of opportunities to get stressed. This type of thing is really, really good for me. I seem to have a base level anxiety that I operate off of. And doing things like this in the morning, digging, really ameliorates that for me in a big way. Boy, time really flies when you're having fun. I've got this bed pretty much finished. There's a couple of flippy pieces that I'll get to once we actually plant here, but this bed should be good to go. I've said it before. This low-level soil that you see in this box, that's just the ground floor. We're going to add compost. We're going to heap compost on top of it. So this will be a good base for planting other things. The soil is actually quite rich. I dug up many worms while I was going through it, but I think this will serve as an effective base. We'll probably take out the tiller and till through this a little bit before we actually heap compost on it. Okay, short episode today, but I was able to get 2 things done in this pre-work hour here in the homestead. I was able to prune that tree, which is a small measure, but one that I think will make a very big difference in the growth of that apple tree. And I was able to dig out a bed and prep it and get it ready. I've got to get ready for work, but as I've said before, I'm very, very happy that I can devote this early hour to getting things done and hanging out with you guys. This mellows me out. This takes some of the anxiety away. This sets me up for a good day, having this time out here in the morning. I hope by watching this, maybe I've transposed a little bit of that peace and calm to you, yo folks, who've stuck with me for the past few minutes while we went about this morning hour. That's what I want to make these Work With Me Wednesday videos, is just peaceful, non-crazy edited videos where we hang out and I get 1 to 2 projects done in the hour I have before I start work. So look at by the way, I'm talking to you, but I'm just looking at the beautiful trees. I think these are, I don't know what they are. They're redbuds, dogwoods. They're pretty trees. I would normally know what type of tree is blooming all over my property, but these purple flowers have been popping up all over. If we go down in the woods, they're all over down there, and it's beautiful. Same in the back pasture. It's usually a marker of spring here on the Homestead. So I'll leave that image that's behind me as I say my goodbyes to you and remind you that until next time, as always, slowly, slowly.